Shalom, my Israelite brothers and sisters. So first of all praises to our Elohim, the Alpha and Omega, no beginning or end, and to his holy son, Hamashiach. So Zion, we're at part 2 of 4 lessons that we're going to be doing concerning the blasphemous ABC camps and their European chart. That's right, I said 4. Now, I know we talked that it was going to probably be 2 or 3, but I have realized how much needed these lessons are. So the Most High has put that in my heart, and I'm going to listen and obey, and that's what we're going to deal with. Now, in this lesson, part 2, we're going to be dealing with the 12 sons of Jacob. We're going to be dealing with the sons of Jacob. So we got some good things lined up for you. We're going to rightly divide the scriptures, and we're going to let the Holy Spirit move upon our hearts. Now, when we do part 3 is going to be the breakdown of Genesis 49. That's right. And many of you have been waiting for that. And we're going to be dealing with the future prophecies of Jacob's 12 sons. So we're going to be dealing with Genesis chapter 49 in its entirety. And we're going to do the true breakdown according to the scriptures. Not these blasphemous camps breakdown version, but the true breakdown version of the scriptures. As far as the 4th part, well, I'm going to keep that one a secret because that's special. That's going to be just for the rebellious camp leaders. The Most High got something very special reserved for them. So I want to save that lesson for last. So you know, brothers and sisters, as the Most High is awakening his people, and I'm seeing an increase like never before that are waking up all over. Now, I'll say time after time that the Most High is going to wake up a lot of his people in the last hour. And there are a lot of people who are still asleep that the Most High has reserved that will wake up at their appointed time. Just like you and I woke up at our appointed time when the Most High Spirit fell upon you. Because you were that sheep that heard the voice of the Most High. And the Most High, when he works, brothers and sisters, he works. Now, let me tell you something, and I want you to listen very clearly. The Most High Yah will not lose one single soul that he has chosen. Now, let me repeat myself again, just in case you didn't hear me. The Most High Yah will not lose one soul that he has chosen unto himself. Now I say that with boldness, and I want to expound on that towards the end of the lesson, and you're going to see where I'm coming from. But in the meantime, we have a lot of work to do, saints, and many of you are learning so fast. It's mind-boggling how fast you're picking the scriptures up and running with it. Many of you have picked up the baton and ran with it. And that's why I'm confident and know, Yah forbid, but if something were to happen to me, I know that many of our brothers and sisters will pick up this baton and run like they never ran before. And I told you all that I'm going to keep blowing this trumpet until I can't blow it no more, even if it kills me. I made that vow to the Most High. And and I'm excited what the Most High is getting ready to do over the next several years and beyond, because I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, the Most High is waking up his people like never before. And, just imagine now the people that are waking up. Just imagine 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Just imagine just the amount of people that he would have waken up in their appointed time. So, well, I'm telling you, these are some great times to be living in, brothers and sisters. And let me just share something with you. What the word of the Most High says. I want you all to go to Luke chapter 21, because this is for you all. Because a lot of you are running with this baton, and you see past all the BS, the foolishness, and I know a lot of you are not playing around either with this word. So let's go to Luke 21 and verse 15. It says, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist." That is a promise straight from the Most High, brothers and sisters. And a lot of you have proven that already. All right, so let's go ahead and deal with the sons of Jacob, because in this lesson, we're going to show you that indeed the sons of Jacob were black then, and his descendants are still black today. The current Hebrews, you and I, brothers and sisters. And the Most High does not change. And there's plenty of scriptures to prove that. And we're going to prove that to you through the scriptures. We're not going to all these heathen books like they like to do. We're going straight to the scriptures. So if you got your Bibles, go ahead and turn to Genesis chapter 35. Genesis chapter 35, and we're going to start with verse 23. Well, actually, let's look at the very end part of verse 22. It says, "Now the sons of Jacob were 12. Let's look at verse 23. "The sons of Leah," that was Jacob's first wife, "the sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun." Now I want you to pay close attention to verse 23. Now we're going to come back to this, but I want you to see something here. Focus on Judah and Issachar. Now I want to show you something very interesting, because you're going to laugh at this. I'm telling you, this is how crazy this crazy European chart is. But let me show you something right quick. Now I want you to look closely at this European chart. Now notice that they got Judah, Benjamin, and Levi as blacks. Now look at Judah. Judah, they got as American black. Now we read in Genesis 35 verse 23 that Judah and Issachar are brothers, right? Now you saw it with your own eyes. Now watch this. We're going to scroll down. Let's see who they have as Issachar. They got the Mexicans, the Aztecs, Mexicans. Those are those European Mexicans that are over there right now. That's who they got down as Issachar. All right, Zion, so let's use our heads here. Now, if any of us fear the Most High and you believe in the scriptures, you already know from the first lesson that this chart is completely bogus. Now, how you going to have Judah, Benjamin, Levi, black, it's cold, and then the rest of the tribes you're going to have as European? Does that make any sense at all? Now you look at this and you telling me that these people are Israelites. And see, when all fails, you can't prove it from the scriptures, turn to the heathens' books. Because that's what these rebel camp leaders are doing. Turning to these heathens' book. But let me ask you something, saints. Where have these books gotten us in the last 400 years? Nowhere. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know what's really crazy? They would never address the Negroes in those regions in South America, because we already learned from scriptures that those brothers and sisters that are in the South Americas are not the northern tribes. They are the camps of Judah. Because remember, we read that Judah was spread to the four corners. But I'm going to stop right here. We're going to get back to Genesis, because we're going to talk about all this again. We're going to go in detail and their thinking behind. And I'm going to show you the verses that they use to try to prove that they all turned white. Y'all hear me? Let me repeat that again, saints. I'm going to show you the scriptures that these rebel camp leaders use to say is the reason why these people turned white. Yeah, that's right. Y'all going to be laughing your butts off too when I show you those scriptures, because you're going to realize how stupid they are in trying to convince dummies that this chart is accurate, that these people that you see before you are Israelites. These people can't stand your guts. You better not go up and tell a Puerto Rican that they're an Israelite, that they're black. They'll curse your butt out. All right, Zion. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go back to Genesis chapter 35. So go ahead and grab your Bibles. And we're going to finish reading up on the sons of Jacob. And then I'm going to show you what these camps are using to say that the northern tribes, how they turned mysteriously white. That's right. I'm going to show you the reasons that these camps use to try to convince you that they're trying to tell you how the northern tribes mysteriously turned white. They're using several reasons, and they're really stupid reasons. And when I show you, you're going to see it clearly. And I'm going to tell you something. They're running out of options because you all are waking up like crazy. And that's one thing that camp leaders did not anticipate. You waking up and seeing past the BS. So now they're pretty much backed into a corner. And let me tell you a secret. Did you know that they're having to shut down some of their camps? Because guess what? Camps cost money to run. You got to pay the light bills. You got to pay the utilities. So what do you got to do? You got to tax the people. And now that people are waking up, a lot of them are waking up out of these camps, meaning you are waking up and you're seeing past the BS. And it's not working anymore. The wheels have come clean straight off this European chart. And behind all the lies that they're telling you, they're being revealed. So these are exciting times we're living in. That's why I know the Most High is going to set everything straight. That's why I'm not worried about these camps. I'm not worried about these camp leaders and what they're doing. You know, our job is to expose them, of course, and to let you all see and make the decision for yourself, because you got to be able to study for yourself. And we proved that, how vital that is. Why do y'all think I know so much about these camps, saints? I used to fellowship with these rascals. I know how they think, breathe, talk, and walk. And they all talk the same game. It's all mind control. They're robots. That's all they are. So let's go ahead and go to Genesis chapter 35. And let's start from the beginning again, the end of verse 22. It says, "Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun." So these are the sons of Jacob's first wife, Leah. And of course, we know his second wife was Rachel. So look at verse 24. It says, "The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin." So you have Leah, and then you have Rachel, who also had sons. So we're going to go over to the next page, and we're going to continue to read on. All right, let's go over the next page. Let's go up to verse 25, and let's continue. "And the sons of Bela, Rachel's handmaid, was Dan and Naphtali." And verse 26. "And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, was Gad and Asher." Goes on to say, "These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padanaram." So these all are the sons of Jacob. Now, what we want to do now is I'm going to show you the reasons that these camps use to try to convince people why the northern tribes mysteriously turned white. You know, and first of all, they got the northern tribes in the wrong location according to their little blasphemous chart. Because we already proved from Isaiah 11:11, and we're going to look at it again, that the northern tribes are scattered throughout Africa, the Middle East, and the islands of the sea. That has been proven time after time. But I guess some people just want to be stuck on stupid. They'd rather believe in man, believe in a lie, rather than believe in the scriptures. All right, so here is one reason they use to try to convince you that the northern tribes turned white. They love to say, well, the Spaniards raped all the natives that were here already, which were not Israelites. Let me repeat that again, which were not Israelites. And yeah, they right. The Spaniards came and they raped the native Indians, all sorts of things. But see, here's the problem with that. Because see, these camps, they love to say, you are who your father is. Okay? So if they believe that lie, that the Spaniards came over here and raped Israelites, that's what they believe, then wouldn't that, according to what they believe, make them Europeans? Or as they like to call them, Esau. So you're saying that you are who your father is, right? So if you are who your father is, then that means you take on the seed of the Spaniards, the very people you call Esau. Now, you tell me how dumb that is. You're going to say that the reason why the northern tribes turned a lighter color or turned pale was because the Spaniards came and raped them. Well, first of all, the northern tribes didn't even come over to America. Now, I did a video on Arzareth is not America, and I encourage you all, if you have not seen that video, go look at it, because that's why I do lessons like that, so I don't have to keep repeating it. But I did a whole lesson on Ezra 40 all the way through 50. But see, the camps, they like to stop at 45. They won't go past 45 of 2nd Ezra 13 because they know that it proves them wrong. So this is one of the main reasons they use. They'll say the Spaniards came over and raped them. Now, I'm going to do a complete separate lesson on the indigenous people that were here. But that's going to take a separate lesson because that's a lot to cover in that. And, I have some historical facts to show you that these people were never Israelites. The northern tribes did not come over here on those ships. They were scattered out throughout Africa, the Middle East, and the islands of the sea, like the scripture said they were. All right, so now let's deal with the whole you are who your father is thing, because they love to go to that. Let's go to Numbers, because I'm going to show you what it's really talking about here. Numbers chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 2. Because remember, these camps love to say you are who your father is, and I'm going to show you the verses that they don't like to read because it disproves them again. So Numbers 1, it says, in verse 2, it says, take ye the sum of all the congregations of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers. Oh, they love that. It says, with the number of their names, every male by their poles. Now, this chapter is talking about getting a selection to get ready for war or for the army. That's what this is talking about. And I'm going to prove that to you because as we go down the scriptures, I'm going to show you what it's really talking about. And then I'm going to show you that your father and your mother had to be Israelite, not just the father. All right, so let's go to verse 4. And you guys, when you get some downtime, you just go ahead and read the whole chapter and everything because it just deals with the selection process to pick out the males to get ready to join the army or the war with Israel. And it says, and with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. All right, let's go down to verse 18. And it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. This is the main verse that they use right here. Verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their poles. So yes, you took on the tribe of your father. That is so true. But this has nothing to do with you going out marrying a heathen just because you're an Israelite. So let's go on because I'm going to show you what else is. I'm going to show you what this is really talking about. All right, so let's go down to verse. I'm going to scroll all the way down. All right, so this is what I want. I want verse 45. So look at verse 45. It says, so were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. So that's what this whole numbering was for, is to get a selection to be able to go to war in Israel. But I wanted to read, go back up. I wanted to read 18 to show you that's what they use. And they use that, hey, you are who your father is. So that gives them an excuse to go out and marry heathens, because they say that that's who, you are who your father is. Not realizing the scriptures says that you must marry within your tribes. All right? But they love to quote this. They love to quote it, but they won't. They'll leave out Tobit. They'll leave out Numbers. They won't quote that, but I'm going to quote it for you, and I'm going to show you what it really means. Now, let's get ready to go over to Tobit, because I'm going to show you what they will not tell you and what they don't want you to read, because they got these Mexicans and these Hispanics and Native Americans up in their camps, and those are the first people they go after, like flies on doo-doo. Let's go to Tobit 4:12. It says, beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife. You hear that? A wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. I've never heard one camp leader ever touch Tobit 4:12. Never. It says, for we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. So this right here tells you that they don't even believe the very scriptures that they preach from. And you got these few that are in these camps, but yet they go after, those are the first one they go after. And they're calling them Issachar, calling them Ephraim, all that stuff. And those are the first ones they're going after. They're breaking their own word, because they don't even believe in the scriptures, the very scriptures that they're supposed to be believing in. And I'm telling you this, you all ought to see it by now, saints. And I mean, if you're still at a point where you just want to believe a lie, then, oh well. You're not going to be able to fix stupid, because if you want to believe in something like that, then believing in the scriptures, then you go right ahead. Help yourself. All right, so let's go over to Numbers. I'm going to show you another one. Let's go over to Numbers chapter 36, and let's read verse 7. It says, so shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself, I got that underlined for a reason, shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his father. So it ain't only you are who your father is, you have to marry within your tribe of your fathers. You see how plain and simple this is? Easy instruction. The Most High didn't tell you to go after heathens. Now, if you want to know something for your extra homework, I love giving homework assignments. For your extra homework, saints, go read the last 2 books of Ezra. Did you know that those Hebrews who were married to foreign women, did you know that they had to put away their wives? Not only that they had to put away their wives, but they had to put away the children that were born unto them. Oh yeah, the Most High does not play with this stuff. And you got these blasphemous camps that want to continue to play with the Most High like that, lie to the people. Yeah, your time is up. Your time is up. All right, Zion, so I'm going to show you another reason they use, or another scripture they try to use to try to convince people that the northern tribes turned white. I told you guys I used to fellowship with these camps. I know how they think. I know every single precepts they use to try to fool people, get you to believe that these heathens are Israelites. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 12, And let's look at verse 7 and 8. It says, I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. Key word, enemies. Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against. Another key word. See, we got to pay attention to these keywords. I told you we're going to start using our heads and we're going to become more rational when we study these scriptures. It says, cried out against me. What does it mean to be against? It means to be against. Not for you, your enemy. Therefore have I hated it. All right, let's go to the next, because this is the foundation to the next verse we're getting ready to read. Now watch this very closely. Jeremiah 12:9. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. They will use this one verse to try to tell you that this is the reason that the northern tribes are pale now, is because they're like a speckled bird. But let's look at the scriptures and see what it's really saying, Zion. It says, mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. Y'all seen a picture of a speckled bird? What they look like? They're not attractive. It says, the birds round about are against her. What does it mean to be against? There's the key word again. What does it mean to be against? It means to be not for you, your enemies. It means to be hated. It says, let me read that again. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour. Who right now is against us, brothers and sisters? The heathens. They are against us. Let me give you a precept in Matthew where it says that we should be hated. We should be hated among all nations. That is what this verse is talking about. This has nothing to do with some color issues, with Israelites becoming pale all of a sudden. That's not what this is talking about. It's talking about hatred. It means that we will be hated among all nations. But these blasphemous camps like to use it to try to say that's the reason why the northern tribes are pale now, is because they're a speckled bird. Bunch of BS. But we're not even done yet. Now I'm getting ready to show you all the most favorite verse that these blasphemous camps like to use to say the reason why the northern tribes are now pale. Now y'all know where I'm about to go. Hosea 7 and 8. That is their favorite verse. And y'all know some of y'all like this verse too. Y'all get excited when y'all hear this verse. Yeah, I get to marry the heathens now. There you go. That's my cue. That's my green light. That foaming at the mouth. Foaming at the mouth like 3 strippers in a strip club. Getting excited about that stuff. But let's see what this really means. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. They'll read that one and only verse in the whole book of Hosea. I don't even believe that these camp leaders even read the book of Hosea. This is the only verse they pick out, and they leave out everything else. Now notice it says Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among, not with, among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Let's see what this cake not turned really means. All we got to do is jump up a couple of verses. Remember, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Verse 4, it says, they are all adulterers. What is an adulterer? Somebody who turns their back on the Most High, going after other gods. As an oven heated by the baker. Who is the baker? The baker is the Most High, who ceaseth from raising after he hath kneaded the dough, until it be leavened. In the day of our king, the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorners. Get this. For they have made ready their heart like an oven, whilst they lay in wait. Their baker, the Most High, sleepeth all night. Why does he sleep all night? Because he's tired, sick and tired of his people turning their back on him, going after these other gods. And it says, in the morning it burneth as a flaming fire. What happens when you leave a cake in the oven all night? It burns Both sides are burned. The whole thing is burned to a crisp. So when it says Ephraim hath mixed himself among the people, not with the people, it says Ephraim is a cake not turned. That has nothing to do with the northern tribe all of a sudden mysteriously becoming pale. It's talking about idol worship, brothers and sisters. Idol worship. And I'm going to prove that to you. And some more, and we look at some more in Hosea. But see, these blasphemous camps, they want to take this one verse and just use that so they can continue to justify marrying these heathen women. That's all they want. 501c3 and heathen women. Now, let's go over to Hosea 4:16. It says, For Israel slided back as a backsliding heifer. Now Elohim will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Now get this, verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. I've never ever heard one camp leader or camp follower quote this verse right here, this very verse. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. You won't hear it. Because, see, they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know that Hosea is talking about idol worship. But yet they want to say the reason why the northern tribe turned pale was because they mixed with the people. Okay. Well, since you want to say if they mixed with the people, well then who are you saying they mixed with? Because the only people they were among were the Egyptians and the Assyrians. And I'm going to prove that to you. All right, we're still in 7. So since these blasphemous camp leaders want to say that the reason why Ephraim, the northern tribes, are pale now is because they mixed with the people. They love to say that. Well, let's see who they would have mixed with then. If you so claim to believe that they mixed with them when it says that he mixed himself among and not with the people. Let's look at verse 11. It says, Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Egypt. They go to Assyria. Now, had they would have mixed with them, well, guess what? They still would have been black. You think that would have just changed all of a sudden? They still would have been black. But it just tells you how idiotic these blasphemous camp leaders are. But the gig is up. You've been had. You've been triple had. Because now that people are waking up and seeing past the BS, you're running out of options. You got to close down your camps now because you can't maintain the people, because you can't stop people from getting the truth. And now you mad and everything. So now you got to tax the people even more because now you got to supplement more money because you lost your camps now. You know, your palms are not being as greased as much now. You know, you can't pay your elders as much now. You know, you got to have some cutbacks there. So now you guys are so desperate, you got to maintain a lie. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember the Black Panther? Remember when the uncle was telling the king the truth about what happened to his uncle and how he got killed and everything? And one thing he said was that he said that we had to maintain the lie. He said it just like that. We had to maintain the lie. And that's what these camps are doing. They're trying their best to maintain the lie. But it's all being unraveled. Unraveled big time. Now, since these blasphemous camps cannot prove that the northern tribes turned pale from the scriptures, and they don't even have the right locations for that matter, but I'm going to prove to you from the scriptures that the sons and daughters of Jacob were black then and still black today. Negro back then and still Negro today. See, you blasphemous camp leaders, by you saying that these northern tribes and the reasons why they're pale, it's like you saying, well, Israel, the Hebrews, they left Jerusalem black and came back white. That's exactly what you stupid asses are saying. that our forefathers left Israel black and came back white, according to you all. Blasphemous bastards. And that's why your pride is going to be the very thing that's going to kill you. Because you refuse to humble yourself before the Most High. And you want to continue to mislead Yah's chosen people. You're going to have hell to pay. Now let's go over to Amos 9 and 7. Let's see what the Most High says about his chosen people. It says, "Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O ye children of Israel?" So let's examine this here. What is he saying? Of course, we're not Ethiopians, but the Most High is comparing us to the Ethiopians. What did the Ethiopians look like? They were black people. And see, I'm going to tell you something, saints. You can tell a big difference between any other race of people on the face of the earth besides the Hamites. You know, because we're, of course, the same color as the Hamites. But we have our people among the Hamites as well. But other than that, you can tell a big difference between black folks and any other nations on the face of the earth. You can tell, you know. Even the other nations can tell you that. I remember it was funny. I remember seeing a camp officer trying to convince a Mexican so hard that he was Israelite. And that Mexican just knew. He knew his history. He said, "I ain't no Israelites. The Israelites are black." He says the Hebrews are black. They even know. You know, how you going to try to convince somebody who knows their history that they're somebody else? You know, only we do that, brothers and sisters. We're the only ones who do that mess. You know, I'm going to continue to read. It says, "Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Ker?" So the Most High is comparing us unto the Ethiopians. You look at these current day Ethiopians, they're about as black as coal. These are the Ethiopians. The Most High is comparing his people to Ethiopians. Now, some of you might be asking, what about the albino children? Well, you normally, it's a normal thing at times to have for two black people to have an albino child. Because on the outside, their skin looks really white, but they're actually black because they were born of a black mother and a black father. You know, so they are black, even though they don't look it on the outer appearance because they're really, really bright, but they are black. You know, because black families have been known to have an albino child, but two white people cannot have a black child. And that's been a proven fact throughout history. So let's go over to Isaiah 29 and verse 22. It says, "Therefore thus saith Elohim, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob." Here it is again, the house of Jacob. Who's it talking about? The house of Jacob. Those are the sons and daughters of Jacob. The Negroes, the blacks. It says, "Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale." And I dare you to do an in-depth study on wax pale. It is talking about the appearance. See, the Most High said that he's going to have a distinctive looking people in these last days. And you know, you can look at all the reports on how they tried to kill us, try to wipe us out, but they cannot kill us. They cannot wipe us out because our gene is too strong. And you know, and you can't do it. So the Most High is telling us that he will have a distinctive looking people. The Israelites were black then, and they're still black today. There's no difference. The Most High does not change. Now, I want y'all to think about something, saints. Think about this really good. Now, of all the camps that are out there, why is it, and y'all tell me this, why is it that all the camps that you have out there, you only have a handful of these heathens in their camps? Not even a handful, really. And the camps that I've visited had no more than 5 or 6, no more than 8. I can tell you that right now. I've never been to a camp where I've seen more than 8 heathens. No more. That's probably the most I've seen. And I'm going to tell you why. Because these are not our people. These are not the people of the book. You know, and they want to continue to believe that these people are Israelites. A lie that was hatched out of the One West camp. And see, this madness was started a long time ago. And that was not the real awakening. The real awakening is happening now, brothers and sisters. Nobody told these people to go start up camps, start lying to the people, taking their money, what have you. That's the false awakening. And you guys ought to study what happened in Dimona and what's still going on right now in Dimona, Israel. You had a group about 50 years. This guy named Ben Ami, he was a bus driver in Chicago. And guess he had a little vision and took his butt over to Jerusalem and took a lot of other folks, convinced them to go over there. And now those kids were being born generation after generation into abuse, molestation, rape, you name it. That is not what the Most High has designed for his people. Not at all. And you talk to a lot of these daughters of Zion that are in these camps that are married to these suckers. You know, they've been leaving them left and right because they're treated like slaves. The Bible says that our wives are to be our helpmates, not our slaves. But I guess they missed that memo somewhere down the line. So the less than handful of these heathens that are in these camps have been lied to by these blasphemous camp leaders. Told them a straight up lie that they were Israel, and they fell for it. And a lot of them are waking up to the reality that they're not Israelites. Matter of fact, I had one come on my page and actually admitted that it was a hard pill to swallow, but he had to admit it. And I had to congratulate him for being honest. But not everybody's going to do that. Let me tell you why these folks are not our people. Go to Romans 8:16. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. That's why you see only Negroes that are waking up. If that's the case, then how come the Mexicans aren't waking up? You got about so many millions of people in Mexico. Not one. You get all these Native Hispanics, Native Americans, and Cubans. They're not waking up. Now the Negroes in those regions, the ones that they don't address, the ones that they never address or talk about because they hate their own people. They want to call them big lip, big nosed. They want to go after the white ones. But they never address the Negroes, which are the camps of Judah. They never address those. So that ought to tell you something. These people aren't our people. The Spirit is not on them. The Spirit is on Yah's people. That's why the Negroes are waking up all over the world. That should be evidence. This verse alone should just tell you that. And you know, when you read this verse is so evident, and you can just see it all around you, saints. We know who are waking up. These heathens know they're not our people. They know that. They know their history. But you got these blasphemous camp leaders out there trying to convince them so bad that they're Israelites. And you worse than a slave. Worse than a house nigger. Trying to save your master. Master, we're going to save you. We're going to save you, master. And these supposed to be commandment-keeping people. I don't think so. Now, in their last effort, they try to go to Deuteronomy 28:68, because now, this is what they're using now. They're trying to say, yes, everybody was on the ships. You know, we know what Deuteronomy 28:68 says. It says, and Elohim shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt not see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. See, this wasn't too long ago, saints. It's a little bit over 300 years, 400 years. Wasn't that long ago? So you mean to tell me that Mexicans, Native Americans, Hispanics were on the ship with so-called Negroes? Is that what you're telling me? You blasphemous camp leaders have been had. Your lies and follies no longer work anymore on the children of the Most High. And now, in their last effort, they turn to the heathens' books, full of opinions and injections. And you know what the Bible says about these books. But that's what they do. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, these camp leaders, they know their backs into a corner, but they still want to fight against the Most High. They don't care. They don't fear the Most High because they have to maintain the lie. They got to keep getting those palms greased. They too proud. You think they want to lose their ranks? You think they want to lose their position? They love position. I'm telling you, these camps, these leaders, they love their positions. They love being called officers. They love being exalted amongst their brothers. They love that stuff. And that's what they live for. I'm telling you the truth. That's what they live for, and that's what's going to destroy them because they're not going to change. They don't plan on changing. Just like the Pharisees of old. Pharisees, what did they say to Hamashiach? They said, let his blood be on us and our children. That's the same thing that these blasphemous camp leaders are saying in so many ways. But they're going to get exactly what they deserve. Hey, Zion, I want to show you something right quick. I'm going to show you this comment this guy made on my last video I did on the blasphemous ABC camps. I want y'all to check out what he wrote concerning the northern tribes. It says, there are books that substantiate that the Mexicans and American Indians and the so-called Puerto Rican are part of the northern tribe of Israel. I had to laugh my butt off when I read that. Now, this guy's probably more likely a camp follower because only camp followers believe that mess. They want to believe that these books are telling the truth. And these books are full of opinions. I've read these books. They'd only interject what their opinions are. You know, these people know that they're not Israel. Now look what I wrote back to him. I said, did you know that there are books that substantiate that the Khazars over in Jerusalem are the bloodline Hebrews? There are many books on that, but I bet you won't believe that, will you? You know, and these people are tripped. You know, this is how crazy this stuff is, saints. They want to believe all the heathen books when it comes to the northern tribes, but when it comes to the books that also show that these Khazars over in Jerusalem are the bloodline Hebrews, they want to throw that book out. But when it comes to the northern tribes, they want to believe that lie. No, brother and sister, you got to throw all that stuff out. You got to throw it all out. Either it's the truth or it's a lie. There's no in-betweens when it comes to the Most High's word. There are no in-betweens. Either it's a truth or the lie. And these books they got out that these blasphemous camps are turning to is a lie because they are out of options. And they can't go nowhere else. They got to continue to maintain a lie. Because that's the only thing that they're hanging on to right now is a lie. Now, we've already proved in the first lesson through the scriptures where the northern tribes and the southern tribes are scattered to. When we go to Isaiah 11:11, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Elohim shall set his hand against the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Now you tell me, does this look like the South Americas to you? And these camps talking about the northern tribes are scattered out throughout the Americas, when the Bible tells you where the northern tribes are scattered to. And we proved that in the first lesson. What more do you need, saints? If you don't want to believe this, then you just don't want to believe the Most High. That's all that is. You want to continue to believe in your own follies and your own lies. All right, so let's get a precept. Let's get a precept to Isaiah 11:11. Let's just show you some more, since you might not be convinced just on that verse alone. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10. And it says, and from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. Verse 11. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me, for then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. So, in conjunction with this, just please go back and read the whole book of Hosea. That's your homework assignment. Read the whole book of Hosea. Don't just read Hosea 7, 8, and then just close the Bible. Now, read the whole book of Hosea, and then you'll understand what it's talking about the northern tribes. All right? It's so simple, saints. It's this, the word of the Most High is not hard to understand. And it's like you got blasphemous camp leaders that want to put their own man-made doctrines in it because it sounds good, because they want to follow after man. They want to worship man and continue in their ways. But you know what? Let them continue, because the wheats and the tares are growing together, and the Most High is going to do the separating. Now, the next lesson that we're going to be doing is going to be a big one. It's going to be on Genesis 49. That's right. We're going to do a true breakdown of the future prophecies of the sons of Jacob. Not the camp version, not the camp man-made version, but the true biblical version. And I got the precepts to back it up. And we're going to be dealing with that in the very next lesson. So in the time being, brothers and sisters, I really pray that you were edified in this lesson, the sons of Jacob. And I pray that you see it even clearer now. But if you haven't seen lesson 1, please go back and watch the first lesson, titled The Blasphemous ABC Camps in the European Chart, so you can get a better understanding. And also check out Arzareth is Not America. Okay, so those lessons are for you all, saints. I'm here to serve you all. I work for the Most High, and I'm here to please only Elohim. So I'm going to leave you with Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those that keep the commandments of Elohim and have the faith of Hamashiach. Until next time, saints, I'm going to say shalom. Stay strong and keep your head up. Keep fighting. Keep blowing that trumpet. Don't never stop. And I'll see you, if y'all's will, I'll see you soon. Shalom and stay strong.